Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of IPL. And I'm Vaishak here. With me is the same panel as the part one. Obviously, we have with us Rohit Verma,
Hi everyone.
and as the part one, Karan,
Hi everyone.
and obviously Bhanu.
Hello, everyone.
So let's start with the remaining part of what we didn't cover in the part one. We covered 4 teams, and let's go on with the lineups of the remaining team, and let's discuss, end up with the predictions and everything. So why don't you start with Kolkata, Red, then?
Okay. So Kolkata now, this is a team which, according to me, has the best T20 player in the world in Andre Russell. Conditions in UAE might not favor Russell, but then the power and timing he possesses, I think no matter what the pitches are and how big the boundaries are, you can expect him to clear it with ease. And as we have seen before, he can turn matches like nobody else. So anyways, coming to the playing 11 as we were discussing. So this is my playing 11. I personally like Nitish Rana as a player, because he's someone who does score those 20s and 30s at a very decent strike rate, which can help set the big batsman to follow. And also, more importantly, he can also chip in with a couple of overs, which I feel is a very, he's a good utility player. Anyways, I feel where Kolkata will actually make the difference is that 4, 5, 6. Those are pretty much the best players in those positions in any team in IPL. Now, the trouble is, by the time you are to 6, you already have used like 3 foreign spots. I've taken Naren to open batting, Morgan and Russell. So it's 3 foreign spots gone by the time you're to number 6. So that means that the 4th spot has to be a bowler. And for me, because they spent so much on Cummins, I believe he walks into the team. So he takes the 4th bowling spot. Now, what this leaves the Kolkata team with is the remaining bowling lineup need to be filled by Indian bowlers. Yes, there are few quality Indian bowlers. We have Shivam Mavi and Nagarkoti, the youngsters, and they are good. So I'm excited actually to watch them bowl. But then, in the dead tracks of UAE, they might struggle. And KKR, doesn't have that additional spinner they can go to. So I have gone with Kuldeep Yadav, obviously. And I have gone also with Manimaran Siddharth in the playing 11. That's just to give the depth in the spin bowling options. But to be frank, I have not seen him play. So I really don't know how good he is. But anyway, that's pretty much what my playing 11 is. So I leave the floor open to Bhanu and Karan.
I think for Kolkata, one of their biggest strengths now is that they have no more confusion about what spin options to go with. Sunil Narayan, I think, sort of takes his place without any questions asked, because now he also has batting in his arsenal, a very explosive opening batsman that he's become over the last couple of years. And we've seen he's really useful when Kolkata needs a quick start or when they are chasing big totals. He's coming really handy. But I feel their biggest differentiator on the UAE pitch is going to be Kuldeep Yadav. I think amongst all the spinners that we have in this tournament, barring Adam Zampa, there is nobody who comes close with the skill that he can bring in 24 balls that the bowler gets in IPL. I think Kuldeep has a very strong flight in his arsenal. And what Kuldeep does really well is he invites batsmen to go for scoring shots and sort of deceives them either in the air or through cracks in the pitch later on, when the dew is a huge factor. So I think those 2 bowlers we will almost see them consistently for Kolkata doing their 8 overs or sometimes 7 to 8 overs depending on the conditions if the spinners are getting there. And Rohit, I completely agree. Pat Cummins will be their 4th, a definite 4th overseas player almost every game, because with him he brings a great set amount of experience and world-class bowling in the death overs. So I think that's almost a no-brainer. For me, I think the player to watch out for in Kolkata, the one player I'll be rooting for will be Shubham Gill. I think for me, this really is going to be the tournament where we see him either fire up the ranks and compete with the likes of KL Rahul, or show to the selectors how he can be a very good consideration for the Indian T20 side for next year's World Cup instead of Shikhar Dhawan, in fact. The guy has fantastic shot-making abilities. We've seen that in the past. And I think what Kolkata will do really well this time is give him those chances, because Andre Russell is coming at the back of a lot of, cricket, live, international cricket sort of experience in the past few months. So they will show confidence in some of these youngsters, give them the chances. We've seen DK very supportive of youngsters in the past as well. So I'm really looking forward to, Kodbo, Lodbo, Jeetbo, rhythm playing back when Kolkata comes back to play in the UAE. Let's watch out for Pat Cummins. I think he is going to be the pacer with who has any kind of chance to sort of go for the purple cap in my mind.
I would like to add one more thing. I totally agree with Rohit and Bhanu with respect to Kuldeep Yadav and Shubman Gill. These guys have to perform. But the other good purchase which Kolkata has done as a backup for Pat Cummins, they've purchased Ali Khan, who is a Pakistani-born player who plays for USA, and he picked up 8 wickets in 8 games in the current CPL, as the Caribbean Premier League. So he was a good performer, and he replaced Harry Gurney. They also have another spin bowler. His name is Chris Green. He also picked up about 9 wickets, but again, he's a foreign player. They might try him out. I would give some attention to Varun Chakravarti also, because he was picked up for around 8.4 crores by Punjab, but he is now being picked up by KKR for 4 crores. He might just be that X factor because the UAE pitches are turning. Other than that, I totally agree with Rohit and Bhanu. But Kolkata does look a bit low on finishing, just in case if Russell fails or something around those lines. That's my opinion.
So anyway, let's keep moving. So let's go to Punjab. Punjab is an interesting team. The other day we were talking, and I was telling you guys that, for me, at least personally for me, KL Rahul is the best T20 batsman we have in India after Virat Kohli. And, I strongly believe that. Now he's also captain of this time he's also the captain of Punjab. So, with the added responsibility, I believe he can step up a notch higher. And, given that he'll be working with Anil Kumble, who I believe is a very good mentor, I see the best out of KL Rahul coming this season. So I see big things from him. Again, he's a flamboyant batsman. I don't know how much the pitches will assist him, but no matter what the pitches, what the conditions are, I expect him to play well. So anyways, coming to the playing 11, first thing, I do not think Chris Gayle commands a spot in the starting 11. Last time around, he did play, the same situation. I didn't think he, was worth starting, but, he comes in and starts scoring runs. So yes, it's Chris Gayle, so we can't expect what comes out of him, but from at least my main 11, my first 11 will not have Chris Gayle. So I have gone with Mayank Agarwal as my other opener with KL Rahul. Nicholas Pooran is someone, again, I do like a lot. And, I believe he can be that explosive player at number 3. So I've gone for him at number 3. And number 4 was a dicey spot. I've filled it with Karun Nair for now. And I have put Glenn Maxwell as the floater. So Glenn Maxwell, I've chosen him over, say, Neesham in the team, in the playing 11, because, for one reason, what he did in UAE last time when they played here, he had some big scores, I think a couple of 90s or 390s, I don't know. So yes, so he had some very good innings last time around. So that's one reason I've gone for him. So for me, he's a floater. He can bat at 4 if required, 5, maybe 6, maybe down 7, depending on when the situation commands him. And now he has also matured a lot, so he can also play through. He's not just a explosive batsman who comes and scores big runs. He can also play through the innings. Deepak Hooda is number 6. Now he is someone I have felt that he has not actually lived up to expectation so far in IPL, but he has good all-round abilities. So for me, he comes at number 6. He can do the big hits, and also he can chip in a couple of overs. So Deepak Hooda is there. Number 7, I've gone for Krishnappa Gautam. Now Gautam, again, a player I believe is on the verge of getting into the Indian team. He is a very useful bowler for sure. He can open the bowling. He is a very useful bowler. And on top of that, he can, play some really good knocks down the order. And he has done that previously. So I expect him to do that at number 7. Chris Jordan at 8. One of the best death bowlers we have in the world currently is Chris Jordan. So I've gone for him. Now, this is where I'm slightly unsure. The Indian bowlers to back up. So my last foreign spot I've given to Mujibur Rahman. I think that's a given. The way he has performed in the previous IPLs, I think in CPL he played well. So for me, it's a given. So Mujibur Rahman walks in. Now the last two Indian spots, I've gone with Mohammad Shami and Ravi Bishnoi. Now there are other Indian pacers. Maybe we can try it out. But for me, Mohammad Shami, Indian bowler, I start off with him. Let's see what goes. Ravi Bishnoi, it's someone who I have not seen, but I've heard a lot. So, personally, I've not seen him play, so I don't know how he is, but I've gone for him because I've heard a lot about him. There is an option to go with Suchit, who is more experienced in IPL. So maybe that's another option to go to, but Bishnoi. This is my playing 11.
I don't think there is too much to debate with this Punjab squad, honestly, because they are very thin in both spin and pace. They don't have any big name in either department. Every bowler is not bad, but every bowler is not world class, or there is not a single world class bowler in their bowler department. So that makes me almost feel there is going to be double the amount of pressure on KL Rahul stepping into the tournament, not just as an opener but also as the captain. And this is where I feel Mayank Agarwal really has to step up this time around. This can be his breakthrough tournament to support his state-mate KL Rahul. These guys know each other. They have terrific, sort of chemistry between them. What will remain to see is how these guys can provide that opening platform, either while chasing or while setting targets, so that Glenn Maxwell and Pooran can actually come with the chance to go after those big shots when the time comes. For me, the other also important thing, sort of, I think Rohit touched upon this, is that not playing Chris Gayle automatically then means that they have an extra foreign spot sort of open for them, right? Because Chris Gayle would either come in place of Pooran, in my mind. There is no other player that he can replace. And Pooran has been in excellent form. He has some excellent promise that everybody's looking forward to see. So in my mind, Chris Gayle will be used probably against some weaker opponents or teams with really fast opening pace attacks. Probably at the Abu Dhabi pitch, we might see Chris Gayle coming into play a lot more than the other venues. But otherwise, I think this Kings 11 Punjab team really, I don't think they have too much going for them apart from Anil Kumble joining them this year. And I hope he can bring some skills and some of his, attention to detail while playing opponents, because they cannot bank on their strengths. They have to go this tournament opponent by opponent.
I would like to make one change to the team Rohit mentioned. I would probably get Sarfaraz Khan in instead of Karun Nair, because Sarfaraz Khan had a wonderful Ranji season. He scored 928 runs in 6 games, which included a 301 not out. So Sarfaraz Khan, even though hasn't been performing very well, you could bet on him. And with respect to Ravi Bishnoi, he was the highest wicket taker in the Under-19 World Cup. He picked up about 17 wickets in 6 games. So I think he should walk into the team as well. And Mujibur Rahman he's the second ranked ICC bowler in T20. So I think he walks in as well. The other thing we need to focus on is the last time IPL happened in UAE. It was in 2014. Punjab was the only team which had a 100% win record. They played 5 and they won 5. And the main reason there was Maxwell, who scored 300 runs. He scored 552 runs in that entire season, out of which 300 runs were scored in UAE. So I feel Maxwell is that. I mean, KL Rahul is definitely the captain, but Maxwell in the middle will give them that push so that they can get through the games. So yeah, I think Punjab has a good chance this season.
I agree with the Sarfaraz Khan pick. I did not know about his domestic performance, but yeah, that is something which definitely. And I feel if required, because the batting I feel is light, maybe for Mohammad Shami or one of the other bowlers, one of the extra batsmen like Sarfaraz Khan, as you mentioned, or Mandeep Singh can come into play. Anyways, that's good. Let's go to the next team. That's the young Indian Brigade, the Delhi team. This team excites me a lot. Trust me, this is one team I'm looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Captain Shreyas Iyer. According to me, he can be India's next limited overs captain. So I'm looking forward to this team. Coming to the playing 11, I've gone with Rahane at 3 because I feel Now, given the slowness of the pitches you might encounter in the UAE, Rahane should bat, like say, as much as of the new ball as possible. And he can also be that anchor around which the explosive top six can bat around. So that's why I want Rahane at 3. Obviously this just means that you have to move Shreyas Iyer to 4, Pant to 5. But again, these are positions that they are vying for in the Indian team, or they are at least playing. In Iyer's case, he's playing for in the Indian team. So I expect them to adapt well to those positions. And if Delhi has to accelerate at the death, they will need Pant, and because I don't see other big hitters in the team. That's one thing that's lacking in Delhi team is that. So I would expect Pant to be there. So him batting at 5 should help that. And yes, talking about acceleration, I have put Stoinis at 6 for that reason. And for me, I think he can be a valuable finisher. I understand, if you follow Big Bash, you have seen that, he scores his runs at the top of the order. But then, I've seen him play for Australia in the middle order or late middle order, and I've seen him play the finisher role well. So I think he can do that. Something which he might have to get used to as the tournament goes, but I think he can do that. So again, I have Keema, Paul, and Akshar are other options I've gone for. I believe they can give that some depth to the batting, which is pretty much required for them. And they're primarily bowlers. So they also give you that bowling options also. But again, my view is that death batting, which might become a challenge later on as the tournament goes, if the top order doesn't stay long. But anyways, there is a lot of strength in the bowling, which is something which I feel, already, which I've mentioned, the players, they all can chip in. A few of them can chip in with the ball. And along with that, we also have, in bowling, we have multiple options. I have gone here with Lamichhane and Kagiso Rabada as my foreign bowlers, and we have Ravichandran Ashwin in the team now. So he can be that experience around which the entire bowling department revolves. So for me, the 9, 10, 11 bowling, our 3 main bowlers are really strong bowlers. Now I've picked Lamichhane there in the team, but it's flexible, because there's so many spinners already, and I don't think Lamichhane need to be that. So if in case you want to go with an Indian spinner, then you can go with Amit Mishra. Or if you want to go with pace, then you have Avesh Khan, Ishant Sharma. There are options there. Or if you want to replace and go with a batsman, remove Lamichhane and get maybe a Hetmyer into the team, I think it can still be good. And Delhi has a lot of options, and I feel this is one team I'm really excited to watch. So that's about from my side.
Fair excitement for Delhi. I think what they have for the first time is a real chance to beat RCB to winning the IPL. I think this is their real strongest shot at winning the title. A couple of reasons. One, of course, Firozshah Kota, which is their home, has not really been their home ground in terms of results. They've almost had a battering there every time. And I think what the UAE pitch also does is it sort of makes it much more level for their batsmen to pick and learn from what's going around with other teams and sort of adapt much faster. Because I think what's going to be crucial for Delhi, as if I look at their squad, is getting their opening combination set and right. And they have to do that within the first few games. And I think what they are over Rahane in the first few games. That's personally my take. I feel Shikhar Dhawan sort of commands his position, being a senior player, being a very experienced T20 campaigner. So, and I think with him, we might see Prithvi Shaw open the batting up front instead of Rahane. Also because Rahane does not really have the shot-making abilities required sometimes on slower pitches. I feel Rahane needs the kind of pace that some of the tracks in the England or Australian conditions support, which is why I feel Prithvi Shaw is my pick instead of Rahane. What is non-compromisable for them is their number 3-4. I don't think they will experiment too much with Shreyas Iyer and Rishabh Pant's positions. Both of them will sort of stay there, I feel, and I say that because they have a very, very strong set of players fighting for the 5, 6, and 7. Right? You have Stoinis, you have Hetmyer, you have a new addition, Alex Carey. Akshar Patel can bat as well if the need be. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to sort of find a balance between these 3 international players. I think it's Hetmyer, Carey, and Stoinis. almost always picking just two of the three depending on the conditions. Stoinis has a very handy medium fast-paced attack, whereas Alex Carey gives an explosive batting choice in the close down your middle order before your bowlers come in. So I think that's what their batting is going to look like. Really, really strong names right throughout from the opening slot all the way till 6 and 7. What is also a big advantage, I think, for Delhi is that they have probably the strongest or at par with CSK spin attack, with Ashwin, with Amit Mishra, and I think with Lamichhane, with not too many people are putting the limelight on him, but he has deceived many players. He's come into the limelight as a 20-year-old quite a couple of times. And let's not forget, right? I mean, I think what's going to happen with them is that Akshar Patel is definitely going to make some trouble for some of these streamlined bowlers with his batting abilities and his wicket picking abilities as well. So it's going to be a big headache for Shreyas Iyer to find his two spinners and sort of go with them match after match, because Ashwin has the experience, but Lamichhane and Akshar Patel have the edge in terms of providing that X factor. Rabada definitely and Ishant Sharma will be their spearheads. I don't think there is any other pace. There's any other name in their bowling attack that can contest their positions. Ishant is on a high in terms of his last few years, and Kagiso Rabada, well, the name itself is scary. So I think what's going to be very, very important for Delhi is to keep their head down and break every game into phases instead of going far too ahead of themselves and setting ambitious targets of chasing down big totals or setting big targets. What will be important for Shreyas Iyer is to find his batting strengths, educate his players to not lose their wickets, because they have a very thin lower order. Very important for them to keep their wickets safe during the middle overs. And if they do that, then I totally back their bowling, spin and pace to do the job for them if their batsmen can give them the support they require. Very good team to watch out for, and a very, very, very keen team to watch out for Delhi Capitals.
I agree with Bhanu and Rohit, but I would make two changes to my teams. Probably I would not let Rahane come at 3 and put Stoinis up there, because that's what he usually does. And with Stoinis taking his position, and if we take out Rahane, you can replace Rahane with Harshal Patel, who was the 4th highest run getter and the 3rd highest wicket taker in Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. So he's in good form, and you get an all-rounder. What you could also do is, instead of Keemo Paul, I would probably play Hetmeyer or Alex Carey, because they have that finishing capabilities. And then you can start off with Akshar Patel and Ravichandran Ashwin. The other thing you also need to notice here is that they have a good number of all-rounders in their team. So someone like an Akshar Patel, a Harshal Patel, a Ravichandran Ashwin, and a Stoinis, they can pitch in a few overs here and there, whereas your bowling or your finishing is intact with Lamichhane, Rabada, Ashwin, and maybe Ishant if he plays. The other player I would like to draw some limelight on is Daniel Sams, who's replaced Jason Roy. He could be a perfect replacement for Kagiso Rabada, because Daniel Sams was the highest wicket taker in the last year's BBL, where he took 30 wickets in 17 matches. So let's say if Rabada is injured, because there is a possibility, as per the fixtures, that the teams will play about 3 games in 6 days. So Rabada will need some rest, and keeping that in mind, Daniel Sams would be a good replacement. Other than that, Delhi is a very good team to watch out for. I support Bombay, and Ricky Ponting is their coach, so I have that personal connect as well. But yeah, Delhi is one team to definitely look forward to.
So now let's go to the final team. That's Chennai Super Kings. They were called the Dad's Army last year, and they have only got older. But so I don't know what to expect from them. Last year, I didn't expect them to perform or do what they did last year. The previous year before that, I didn't expect them to do what they did. They have always exceeded expectations. That's because Dhoni has his rare ability to get the best out of the team, and that's very clear. And we have seen that in Indian team, and we are seeing it in IPL now. Because on paper, for me, this team does not stand a chance. Having said that, I have prepared a playing 11 here. So I have gone with this playing 11 here has been very challenging to make, because the lack of depth in batting. I have to really put Vijay in opening here, and I didn't want to, but I put Vijay in opening with Shane Watson. I put du Plessis as one down. Now, I personally, I don't expect Vijay to play the matches, I would expect Du Plessis and Shane Watson to open if one of the youngsters, because I don't know who this Ruturaj Gaikwad or Narayan Jagdishan are, whether they're good batsmen. If they can replace Vijay, then they should come and be number 3. They can bat top of the order. So I've gone with anyways Du Plessis at number 3 for now in the squad. Now CSK, one good thing with CSK is that they have a lot of all-rounders. So, that means there are people who can do those utility roles, which is what Dhoni excels in, utilizing and maximizing those utility players. So I fill the team with them. So before I go, I have Ambati Rayudu. Ambati Rayudu is someone who for me has, again, just like Chennai, has exceeded expectations. Every year I think, this is Ambati Rayudu is over. He's not going to score runs. And then he comes and just, thrashes everyone. Like last season, he did not really live up to the expectations, and that's why he didn't play the World Cup eventually. But Ambati Rayudu for me is a good player at 4. I've got a Dhoni at 5, and for me personally, I want to say this: for Dhoni last year, did play some crucial innings, and one of his best innings ever in IPL throughout the history was played in last year. There were some really good knocks. Last 2 years, I would say. So Dhoni, for me, still can play those knocks, and for that reason, Dhoni for me is a big part, or now with the team getting older, a bigger part in this team. Dhoni will play at number 5. I've gone with Kedar Jadhav at 6. Now the all-rounders start. Kedar Jadhav at 6. Ravindra Jadeja at 7. Dwayne Bravo at 8. You put them however you want. 6, 7, 8. Depending on situation, you want left-hander, you want a pinch hitter. Put Bravo, Jadeja, how you want at 6, 7, 8. I've gone with Piyush Chawla at 9. Deepak Chahar and Lungi Ingri. So this is my 9, 10, 11. And one thing that will help Chennai here is when I said this, you can see that they already have abundant spinners, and then they have Dwayne Bravo, who will, I think, thrive in these pitches in UAE. Deepak Chahar is someone again who I think will do well in these pitches. So they have bowlers who actually are suited to these pitches. But so that's one good thing with what Chennai has. But having said that, I really don't know, because on paper the batting of Chennai still is too thin. So I would say, okay, let's wait and watch how Dhoni is going to do the miracle again. So that's pretty much my 11.
We are finally reviewing the last team, and it has to be Chennai. And for me, I hope Chennai comes last in the tournament as well, because that's how much I don't like them. But just to stay honest to the exercise we are all here for, I think I heard a lot of names that Rohit picked in his 11, and I may not contest them being picked, but I think what I will change is definitely the batting order or where they feature into the team. I think Ambati Rayudu definitely is a big name to talk about, and I think he will open this year's IPL for CSK. He has done that in the past. He has great shots to. He has a great ability to stay in the crease and sort of deliver shots, make those punches in the covers, or just wait for the ball and sort of play the cuts or play towards the third man, towards the boundary. So I think Ambati Rayudu will definitely open the innings, open the batting for CSK, and we will see a lot of Shane Watson because he has seemed to revive himself. I think what Shane Watson has definitely achieved in the past couple of years is his ability to contribute to the team, no matter whether it's with the bat or with the ball or even with quick catches and run outs. So I think Shane Watson, this being a granddad's team, will definitely play. And I think the other player, also purely because of his age and experience, who will feature regularly for CSK is Faf du Plessis. They don't have too many other foreign players with the kind of experience and the kind of calm that he brings to the cricket matches. But I think what Faf du Plessis also stands out for is his competitive abilities. He can bring about that one-off run out in the game, or really make a quick 25 ball 50 if the team needs it. So I think they have a strong 1, 2, and 3 if all these 3 can fire right up at the order. For CSK, I think the biggest problem this year for Dhoni is going to be the absence of Suresh Raina. I think this is the first season when the two of them are not playing, or rather, Dhoni does not have Raina's expertise to bank on. He'll definitely be missed by the squad, I feel. But that also then means that this is a great chance for Kedar Jadhav and Ravindra Jadeja to show why they are the all-rounders that Dhoni has trusted over the years, right? For the last 4-5 years, they have almost always featured in his squads, whether it's for playing in India or for CSK. So I think this becomes a great opportunity for both of them to chip in with the ball, come and do their quick hitting with the bat whenever CSK needs it. Dwayne Bravo and Deepak Chahar will continue to, I think, be their pace attack heads almost in every game. With Imran Tahir coming in off games, or Mitchell Santner, sort of shifting the attack with both of them. But I don't think this season CSK has that edge in terms of finding the one-off knock or a quick three-wicket haul that might be needed on Dubai pitches. Purely because Dhoni excels in versatility. Dhoni brings out his A game when it is least expected. And I think this year's IPL is going to be the only one where more than captaincy or skill making, real cricket is going to make teams win their matches. It's going to be real competition based wins that we are going to see. There will be very few tactical changes that will result in complete overhaul of a game, and that's what CSK is famous for. So let's see what CSK can achieve with the thin squad that they have, an old squad, an aging squad, and then hopefully we get to see Dhoni at his best again now after retirement. I mean, that's the only one reason why I will watch CSK games keenly, to see if our man Dhoni still has the mojo in him or not. So good luck, CSK.
That's a very good analysis, but I feel that with respect to my playing 11, I would make two changes. I would not start Murali Vijay and I would let Ambati Rayudu open. And instead of Murali Vijay, I would get this 23-year-old left-arm spinner. He's an orthodox spinner. His name is R. Sai Kishore. He was the highest wicket taker in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy last year, where he picked up 20 wickets in 12 matches. Now, CSK always has a knack of overburdening their squad with spinners. I mean, in the last IPL, I remember there was a game when only Deepak Chahar was their fast bowler and Dwayne Bravo. Everyone else was a spinner. So Sai Kishore, I think, would be an X-factor player. And the second player, which I feel will definitely always start, is Imran Tahir, as Bhanu mentioned, because Imran Tahir was the third highest wicket taker in this year's Caribbean Premier League, where he picked up 15 wickets. Bravo was also in a decent form. He scored 297 runs in 9 innings, but he's an on and off, so maybe they can replace him with Santner if they want to. But I feel Imran Tahir will definitely walk into the squad. The other thing which needs to be noticed is that Piyush Chawla, when the IPL was supposed to start regularly, Dhoni was guiding him to become an all-rounder. And if that happens, Chennai can have a batting lineup up to number 8, which is a deep batting lineup, right? Because if you have Ambati Rayudu, Watson, du Plessis, Dhoni, Jadhav, Jadeja, Bravo, and Piyush Chawla, those are 8 batsmen who bat for you. So yeah, Chennai has it, but let's see. I'm very skeptical about how they go about it, but then Dhoni is always known to make the most out of situations when everything is stacked against him. But then, yeah, it will be a good tournament, hopefully, for Chennai. I hope they finish last.
I think everyone has done a good work in working with the squad of the last 4 teams as well. You have discussed all the details. Let's get to the next part of it. Can you predict, because I think everyone said that they like this team is strong. But no, which is really strong? If you have to put 1 or 4 or 2 or 3 teams, which will be the top 4? Who will win it?
Predicting a tournament like IPL is extremely difficult. As you saw, as you went through the teams, you must have seen that each of the teams I mentioned here, or we mentioned, or we discussed here, are capable of winning against any other team on a given day. So predicting a tournament like this is impossible at the very start, because you can see how easily teams can pick up momentum and just go on to win the tournament. But anyways, I'll go with my views. My views are slightly biased because I am a fan of RCB. So there is some bias in it. I do like Delhi team. So I have gone with RCB Delhi. As I told you, Sunrisers Hyderabad is for me very underrated and a very good bowling lineup they have. So I've gone with Delhi, RCB, Sunrisers Hyderabad and Mumbai to be my top 4 teams. And not any particular order, but they 4 to finish 4th. And I'm really hoping, or I'm wishing to see that RCB lifting that elusive trophy. So that's what I'm looking at, RCB there. And I would love to have an RCB versus Delhi final. And if that is the final and if Delhi wins, I'll be equally excited, because as I told, that's one team I'm actually excited to watch. So for me, RCB Delhi finals is what I'm looking forward to. There's not a prediction, but there's more of a, you can say, fan view in many ways. So that's pretty much what I'm going for.
I think for me, I'll also follow the same format Rohit used. For me, the top four definitely will have Rajasthan Royals, RCB, Mumbai Indians, like for sure. Anywhere, any of these three teams feature in the top four, I think I would be very, very happy. The fourth team that I will sort of gun for this season from the remaining five will be Delhi Capitals, like we saw in the debut today. Really excited for that team. I'm really, really looking forward to Shreyas Iyer do some of the things that Rohit was talking about in terms of proving his candidature as the next captain, but also as a great Indian middle order batsman in the future. So, Delhi Capitals. And for me, a dream final will definitely be to see, RCB battle it out against Rajasthan Royals. Both teams have a deep connection with me. I live in Bangalore. My hometown is Bangalore now. As a family, we are from Rajasthan, so that'll be a very, very great final to watch. And I think both teams have the caliber with the presence of Ben Stokes and Steve Smith and Jofra Archer. I don't think there is any other foreign squad in any of the 8 teams that is as strong as Rajasthan Royals. And with Virat Kohli's deep desire to win the Division Trophy, I don't think anybody wants to win it more than that man. So I hope it's going to be a great tournament, and looking forward to doing this again and again with you guys. Thank you for having me.
As per my research and my understanding, I feel that the 4 most balanced squads in this year's IPL are Bombay, Delhi, Punjab, and RCB. That's Bangalore. I feel these are the most balanced squad. They have all their boxes ticked, because let's say Rajasthan has a lot of foreign players, but they lack a bit on the Indian front, and Chennai has an issue with squad depth. So every other 4 teams I feel are not very complete that way. But with respect to my understanding, Mumbai, Delhi, Punjab, and RCB are my favorites to finish top 4. And my dream final would be Mumbai versus RCB, but I really want RCB to do well. I also want Delhi to do well. Also Punjab, because they have a good team and a good management backing them. I don't mind any 3 of them coming to the final and playing Mumbai, and then Mumbai wins it and ends the whole even odd debate. And I want to see RCB fans come out next year and say Cup Namada again for the next year as well. But yeah, I want Bombay to win the tournament, and Bombay RCB would be my hopeful final.
And I think we missed the Chennai fans, because we were supposed to get a few Chennai fans over here, and none of you, it took Chennai to be qualifying for the semi-finals. Maybe we might have
also missed. We also missed Kolkata fans.
Yes, we have a Kolkata fan.
I think
Ganguly
none of
fans.
us mentioned Kolkata in their picks, but I would also like to, mention Kolkata could just do it all over again. You never know if Andre Russell and Owen Morgan, bring it out game after game. We might see Kolkata also give a great fight for the top 4, if not the final. So let's see.
I hope we can see at least the Kolkata fans and the Chennai fans. I hope we can see them in the comment section at least. Come and at least there. Even if you couldn't come to the panel and say things, at least come to the comment section and say your opinion. I'm sure we must have missed something again. We are trying to condense it as much as possible. So now it is your turn, to come into the comment section. Also, don't forget to come with your predictions as well. And, the players you are looking forward for in this tournament, because IPL brings, so much of Indian talent forward. And that's what you, as a cricket fan, as an Indian cricket fan, that's exactly what you're looking forward to. As usual, do like the video if you like our content, share it with your friends, subscribe for getting similar content. And thanks to our panel.
Thanks for having us.
It's great, Rohit and Vaishak. We hope to keep doing this with you, and you guys are doing a great job. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Until next time, stay safe.